Revealed, the incredible truth of my son's cancelled dinner, a life-changing surprise awaits. On a dreary, rain-soaked evening in their small Midwestern town, the whispers of disappointment echoed through the heart of Tom's humble garage. He stood behind a grease-stained counter, his rugged hands brushing against the tools of his trade, the scent of motor oil clinging to him like a second skin. He had just learned that the local charity dinner, a night that Sam had worked so hard for, had been abruptly cancelled. A factory closure, the news spread like wildfire. Tom's heart sank as he imagined the weight of disappointment on Sam's young shoulders. Sam, bright-eyed and bursting with ambition, had planned to unveil his culinary creations to not only help the community but also showcase his talent and passion. The disappointment on his face had been palpable when Tom broke the news. "I've let everyone down, Dad," Sam had whispered, the night air heavy with unshed tears. The words hit Tom like a punch to the gut. What could he say? He felt like he was failing as a father, unable to support his son's dreams. Yet, amid the storm of emotions, Tom felt a flicker of determination. He couldn't let this be the end. He needed to stand up for Sam, to bridge the widening gap created by loss and misunderstanding. In a flash of inspiration, Tom decided to organize a surprise pop-up dinner in their own backyard. "We'll invite the whole town," he thought, excitement bubbling up. He could almost hear the laughter and clinking of dishes already. Tom rolled up his sleeves, aligning his thoughts with action. He reached out to their tight-knit community, every corner store owner, hard-working veterans, and families who had known them forever. A backyard dinner, he announced to anyone who would listen. They promised to bring dishes, lend a hand. Friends didn't let friends down, especially in tough times. As the days passed, the community rallied. The garage transformed into a kitchen bursting with vibrant colors and enticing smells, the dishes becoming a patchwork of collective love and support. Tom couldn't shake the grip of anxiety that clutched at his chest. What if it wasn't enough? By the time Friday arrived, he was exhausted but fueled by a newfound purpose. It wasn't just a dinner, it was a chance to mend the unspoken cracks in their relationship. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the sun dipped below the horizon, string lights flickered to life, casting a warm glow over the backyard. The tantalizing aromas of Sam's food wafted through the air, inviting their friends and neighbors. Laughter erupted, breaking the tension. Their faces lit up as they gathered around makeshift tables adorned with simple flowers, sharing stories and camaraderie. Tom felt the moment draw near. The atmosphere swelled with anticipation, as he realized this was a moment to publicly acknowledge Sam's talent. Just as he opened his mouth to speak, a figure from his past emerged through the crowd, shrouded in mystery and old wounds, reigniting questions that had laid undisturbed. The sky rumbled, a warning of the storm to come, and the weight of unspoken words hung heavy. Would Tom summon the courage to speak his pride, or would their dreams slip away like the evening rain? As Tom scanned the crowd, a chill ran down his spine. The figure moving toward him was unmistakable, Ryan, his estranged brother. It had been years since they'd last spoken, years filled with resentment and hurt. Tom's heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. What was he doing here, of all places? "Tom," Ryan said, voice cutting through the laughter and clinking glasses. That old familiarity was still there, but it was tinged with an unease that felt like a storm cloud gathering overhead. "Ryan," Tom managed, his throat tight. He wanted to ask why he was back, why now, but the words were trapped in his chest. The energy of the backyard dinner shifted. Sam caught sight of his father's ashen face and blinked, confusion wrinkling his brow. The slight smile he'd worn moments ago faded as he turned to see what had interrupted his evening. Is everything okay, Dad? Sam's voice was small, a hint of worry creasing his youthful features. A sense of protectiveness surged within Tom. Here, in front of their community, he didn't want to unravel. He wanted to shield Sam from this complication. Tom shifted his weight, putting a hand on Sam's shoulder. It's just an old friend, he said, forcing a smile. The lie tasted bitter. How could he mask this reality? But Ryan didn't buy it. Tom, we need to talk. I didn't come here to disrupt, he began, eyes darting around to the community members who had gathered in support. I could see the atmosphere. I'm proud of you for doing this. Proud. The word clawed at Tom's insides, twisting into anger. Proud? You left, Ryan. You left me, you left all of us. The moment of tension hung between them, and Tom could almost hear the thrum of the string lights overhead, the lifeblood of hope flickering uncertainly. The crowd watched, whispers floating like paper boats on a turbulent stream. Friends sipping homemade lemonade, and the older ladies sharing recipes. They were all witnesses now. Sam's eyes widened, searching his father's face, conflict evident in his gaze. Tom took a deep breath, trying to calm the whirlwind brewing inside. This is Sam's moment, he stated, voice firm but laden with emotion. The last thing I need is for you to come here and stir up the past. But Ryan stepped closer, desperation in his eyes. I didn't know about the dinner until yesterday. I'm back because I wanted to make amends, Tom. I wanted to support my nephew. The sincerity in Ryan's voice was unmistakable, but Tom's heart was firm. You can't just waltz back in after all this time and expect everything to be fine. I know I messed up, Ryan replied, emotion cracking his voice. But I'm trying. I just want to be part of his life. Tom's breathing faltered as he glanced at Sam. His son's face, filled with uncertainty, sent a wave of guilt washing over him. Did he have the right to shut out the opportunity for reconciliation? Dad, Sam interjected softly, voice quivering. Can we just let him stay for tonight? The storm outside rumbled again, rain beginning to patter lightly against the ground. Tom's chest tightened. It wasn't just a dinner anymore, it was a crossroads. Would he refuse his brother the chance to be part of Sam's life, to heal broken ties? Or would he take a leap of faith and let the rain wash away past hurts? The night felt fragile, and Tom was caught at the edge of something deep and powerful. All eyes were on him, waiting. The choice pressed in, heavy and impossible. What would he decide? As the raindrops began to fall harder, masking the tension in the air, Tom felt the world pivot on its axis. What path would they take next? Tom stood there, the weight of the moment pressing down on him like the impending storm cloud hanging low in the night sky. Raindrops fell harder, but his gaze remained fixed on Sam's anxious expression. It was a look that an 8-year-old shouldn't have to bear, caught between loyalty to his father and desire for connection with his uncle. Just for one night, Sam urged, his voice barely above a whisper. It might be nice to get to know him. It was the vulnerability in Sam's tone that cut through Tom. He knew how much his son craved family, a sense of belonging that hadn't always been readily available. Tom's heart twisted painfully. Closing the door on Ryan meant more than just avoiding conflict, it meant denying Sam a chance to connect with a part of their shared history. Sam, it's complicated, Tom started, but the earnestness in his son's eyes silenced him. Ryan stood quietly, like a ghost haunting the edges of their lives. The years away had changed him. A maturity etched into his face, the hint of silver in his hair. But that familiar desperation was still there, tugging at Tom like a frayed rope. The backyard dinner had morphed from a celebration into a battleground of emotions. Friends shifted awkwardly, uncertain of how to interject in this family struggle. Laughter died, replaced by the patter of the rain, drumming a relentless beat against the pavilion tents. Tom could feel the eyes of their friends boring into him, their sympathy palpable. Maybe just see him for tonight, he finally said, the words spilling past his carefully manicured defenses. But that's it. No more. You understand? Sam's face lit up like a sunrise breaking after a long, cold night, and for a moment, Tom felt that warmth blooming in his chest too. Ryan's expression softened, gratitude shining through the nervous tension. "Thank you," Ryan said, his voice thick as if layered with gravel. "I promise, it won't be awkward. I just want to be here for you both." Tom squeezed Sam's shoulder, trying to anchor himself into the present. That one decision, however small, already felt enormous and fraught. But if it made his son happy, surely it was worth it. They would give Ryan this chance, even if doubt gnawed at the edges of Tom's resolve. "All right," Tom said, steeling himself. "But we'll keep it light. Just dinner. No drama." As the three of them sat down to the long table, the storm continued its symphony in the background, blending with the laughter of guests trying to make the best out of the situation. The atmosphere felt tentative and strange, but there were warm faces around them, people who loved them and wanted to see this work. "So," Ryan began, his tone hesitant, "what are you guys eating?" Tom couldn't help but chuckle nervously at the situational absurdity. "Well, you're a little late for the barbecue, but I think there's still some potato salad left." Sam giggled, and the air brightened a touch. It was a small light against the dark sky, just enough to create a flicker of hope. Maybe it would be all right. Maybe they could navigate this tangled connection, but as the dinner progressed, the chatter, though light, had a sharp edge to it. Tom could see the looks shared between friends, the way they speculated, the hidden whispers about Ryan's absence from their lives. He could feel the weight of his own unresolved feelings, and the sense of anticipation surrounding the conversation like a storm waiting to break. Just when Tom thought they might find a rhythm, Ryan hesitated, his fork poised mid-air. "There's something I need to tell you," he started, voice shaky. Tom's body stiffened. What could possibly come next? Would it shatter this fragile peace? As the raindrops continued to dance on the roof, Tom's heart thudded in his chest, and dread coiled tightly in his gut. What revelation could change everything once again? The room held its breath, and so did Tom. What truth was Ryan about to unveil? Ryan swallowed hard, his eyes darting between Tom and Sam. The rain fell, each drop echoing warnings as he steeled himself to speak. "I never meant to be away so long," he began, his voice breaking slightly. Things got complicated for me, and I thought I was doing the right thing, but I see now I was wrong." Tom felt a knot tighten in his chest, a mix of anger and confusion swirling. He wanted to scream, to demand why Ryan had left in the first place. But Sam, innocent and hopeful, leaned closer, as if drawn to his uncle's turmoil. "Complicated?" Tom echoed, skeptical. "You've missed so much, Ryan. You didn't even try to reach out." "I know," Ryan admitted, looking at the table. "And I wish I could take it all back. But the truth is, I had to get my life in order before I could be the brother and uncle you both deserved." "Get your life in order?" Tom shook his head, frustration boiling beneath the surface. He felt the heat rising in his cheeks, words escaping him as if they were trapped. "I have something to show you," Ryan said suddenly, pulling out his phone, his hands shaking slightly. The image on the screen glowed, illuminating Ryan's face with a soft light. He scrolled and then turned the device towards them. Sam leaned forward, curiosity etched on his face. "What is it?" When Tom saw the picture, he felt his breath catch. A face stared back, one that was strikingly familiar, yet distant. It was a little girl, no older than 4, with wide eyes and a cheeky grin. Her hair was a tangle of curls, and next to her stood Ryan, the proud look on his face unmistakable. "Her name is Ellie," Ryan revealed, voice thick with emotion. "She's my daughter." Tom blinked, grappling with the revelation. Daughter? Ryan had become a father. The news slammed into him like the gusting wind outside. There were so many questions raging in his mind. How had this happened? Why had Ryan kept it from them? Why didn't you tell anyone? Tom managed, his voice tight. I was scared, Ryan admitted, eyes cast downward. I didn't know how to explain it. I thought you'd think I was a total failure. Sam looked confused, his brow furrowing. So you left to take care of her? Ryan reached out, placing a hand on Sam's shoulder. Yes, buddy. I wanted to be a good dad, even if it took me too long to realize I had to face my past first. The weight of that statement hung in the air, raw and heavy. As Tom processed this new layer of complexity in their lives, he felt a shift in the atmosphere, a mix of anger, compassion, and something else, something that felt like understanding. Just then, a clap of thunder rumbled overhead, startling all three of them. Dad? Sam said softly, glancing at Tom. Can we meet her? Tom looked at Sam's eager face and then back to Ryan, whose expression held a mix of hope and uncertainty. Maybe, Tom replied slowly, considering the implications of such a decision. But then, as a father, he felt a flicker of something unexpected, a chance for connection. A way to expand their family, even if it was complicated. Just keep it real this time, Tom added firmly, a challenge as much as reassurance. The tension of the evening not yet fully dissipated. Ryan nodded, relief washing over his features. I promise. I want to make this right. As Sam's face lit up with a smile, Tom's heart felt both heavy and light, a strange contradiction. Hope began to take root amidst the uncertainty. Could they truly forge ahead and heal the wounds that had lingered for so long? But just then, Tom noticed the rain had stopped, the stillness outside punctuated by the distant sound of chirping crickets. And yet, deep within him, he felt the storm of unresolved issues brewing. They were still far from solid ground. What would it mean to embrace Ryan's newfound role as a father? The question hung heavy in the air, and suddenly, Tom realized this was just the beginning. The dry air felt electric with unspoken tension as Tom turned back to Ryan. They stood in the small kitchen, the warm glow of the overhead lights contrasting sharply with the dark clouds that lingered just outside the window. Tom could sense Sam's excitement bubbling below the surface, a bright light in the middle of their murky conversation. He could almost feel the gears of their lives grinding to a halt as they adjusted to the unexpected news. Ryan, Tom began, voice steady but uncertain. How did this happen? You never mentioned anything about a daughter before. Gathering his thoughts, Ryan looked up, his blue eyes reflecting a depth of emotions, guilt, love, and hope. I was running from a lot of things, Tom. I didn't just walk away from you, I walked away from my entire life. I was scared to face the decisions I made. Tom leaned against the counter, arms crossed tightly. But even if you were scared, how could you keep this secret? She's a part of you, a part of us now. The weight of his words hung like a heavy fog, dampening the excitement Sam tried to radiate. I told myself it was for the best, Ryan replied, his voice breaking slightly. But it wasn't. I thought if I ignored it, it would go away. Just like all the other things I tried to forget. But you can't run from your kids. That much I know now. Sam's eyes widened in understanding. Did you really think we wouldn't want her? I mean she's family. His innocent voice softened the air, a reminder that love was rooted deep even in complicated situations. That's exactly it, Ryan responded, relief flooding his expression. He knelt down to Sam's level. I thought you'd resent me, that you'd think I didn't care. But the truth is, I care too much. I was terrified of the judgment. Tom watched them, seeing how Ryan's walls were slowly crumbling, one brick at a time. The moment felt like a fragile bridge being built between them, rife with uncertainty, yet undeniably earnest. Could they really move past the pain? If we're going to do this, Tom finally said, breaking the silence, then we need to be honest, like, really honest. About everything. No more hiding. I'm ready for that, Ryan vowed, his voice steadying, the sincerity palpable. I need to be a father, and I don't want to do it alone. You're my brother. Yeah, Tom interrupted, feeling a swell of emotions. I'm here for you. We can figure this out together. After a moment, the tension eased, a shared understanding hanging between them, holding them delicately like gossamer. Sam bounced on his feet, eager. "So, when can we meet, Ellie?" Ryan smiled, his heart thawing at the prospect. "Soon, I hope. I just need to work some things out first. I want you both to be ready." As the heat of the moment coiled around them like a warm blanket, Tom felt hope flickering brightly. Maybe there was a path ahead, maybe Ryan could truly be the brother he always wished for, but just then, a chime echoed from Ryan's phone. His expression shifted, concern flooding back as he glanced at the screen. "What is it?" Tom asked, instinctively sensing a shift. Ryan's face paled slightly. "It's Ellie's mother she wants to meet. Today." Tom's gut tightened. "Today?" Ryan nodded, the weight of their conversation suddenly morphing into something much more immediate. They were stepping into uncharted territory, and the stakes ignited a firestorm of anxiety within Tom. Could they really take this leap, face what awaited them, and truly bring a new family member into their lives? The question loomed, heavy and profound, as hope intertwined with dread. In that heartbeat of time, Tom realized that they were on the cusp of something monumental. A challenge lay ahead, one that could either forge tighter bonds or tear them apart. And as the phone buzzed again, the answer to the moment felt like a thunderstorm brewing, leaving him wondering would they be ready to face that storm together? Ryan's fingers trembled as he read the message again, as if the words themselves were a snake ready to strike. We have to figure this out. Fast." His voice cracked under the pressure, nerves dancing beneath his skin. Tom felt the familiar twist in his stomach. "What do we know about her? What does she want?" Ryan pinched the bridge of his nose, searching for clarity. "I haven't spoken to her in years. After I left, it became too complicated. I thought, maybe she'd just forget about you?" Tom filled in, suspicion coloring his words. "Maybe," Ryan replied, glancing down, shame creeping over his face. "But now she's resurfacing, and I can't help but feel anxious. I never wanted Ellie to get caught up in this mess." Sam, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing among the adults, looked between them. "Can I meet her too? I want to be friends." His innocent excitement mixed with the tension around them, a stark reminder of what was at stake. Ryan inhaled deeply. "We need to handle this carefully. I want to protect Ellie, but I also want you two to build a relationship with her." Tom stepped forward, commitment lighting a fire in his chest. "Then let us do it together, but no expectations. We don't know her, or what she's going to say." As he glanced through the kitchen window, he could see the dark clouds begin to break a little, rays of sunlight spilling into the room. A powerful metaphor, and yet the shadow of doubt still hung heavily. "Okay," Ryan finally breathed out. "I'll text her back and let her know we can meet." His fingers moved quickly over the screen, sending a message that felt like a stone thrown into deep water. His heart sank as he imagined the ripples it would create. The minutes began to drain slowly, each tick of the clock palpable in the charged silence. Tom sank back onto a chair, trying to process the reality that was unfolding. What if things don't go as we hope? What if she wants to take Ellie away or blame you for everything? Ryan straightened, determination washing over him. "I can't let that happen. I need to be honest. If I've made mistakes in the past, I need to own them. If she's going to be a part of Ellie's life, she has to know that I'm not running away anymore." "But we're not just including you," Tom pointed out gently. "We're including Sam and now Ellie too. It's a lot for everyone." "I know," Ryan sighed, running a hand through his hair, a gesture so familiar that it reminded Tom of all their shared struggles. "But our family has to start somewhere. And if I'm going to finally be a father, I can't do it half-heartedly. I owe that to Ellie, to myself and to you." At that moment, Sam broke the weight of the conversation, tugging on Ryan's sleeve. "Can I make a drawing for Ellie? It'll be like welcoming her." "Absolutely, buddy." That's a great idea. Ryan smiled, a flicker of warmth breaking through the tension. They'll love it, Tom agreed, feeling a rush of gratitude for the child's sweetheart. We'll handle this together. As a family. But as Ryan stepped away to gather supplies for Sam's drawing, Tom's heart picked up its pace again. The clock ticked louder as time slipped away like sand through their fingers. Would they really be ready to confront Ellie's mother when the time came? And just as he was about to voice his concern, another chime echoed from Ryan's phone. Both Tom and Sam turned, eyes wide with expectation. What now? Tom asked, his stomach nodding once more. Ryan's face grew serious, a mask of concentration. It's her, she wants to do it at the park. Tom's heart raced. The implications were heavy. Would the park be a place of tension, or a neutral ground? He looked at Sam. You ready for this? Sam nodded, but Tom could see doubt flickering. As Ryan prepared their response, Tom realized that the looming meeting could change everything, more than just Ryan's past, it could define their futures. He felt breathless with anticipation. Could they truly navigate this storm, or were they just stepping further into chaos? The questions swirled in his mind like the clouds outside. And as the sun dipped behind the horizon, casting long shadows in the room, he felt the weight of what lay ahead sink in. Would they be able to unite as a family before the world outside turned dark? Or would they find themselves lost in the shadows again? The next morning dawned bright but bittersweet, a contrast to the turmoil inside Tom's mind. The park loomed in his thoughts like a great wall, both intimidating and inviting. He glanced at Ryan, who was nervously pacing the living room, phone in hand. Sam was busy coloring, lost in his world of rainbows and smiling suns. But for Tom, the reality was far from colorful. What's the plan? Tom finally asked. His voice wavered slightly, struggling to find the balance between reassurance and anxiety. Ryan paused, looking up. I just want to see her, to know what she has to say. But I also want Ellie to feel safe. His brows furrowed, the weight of parental responsibility heavy on his shoulders. Tom reached out and placed a hand on Ryan's shoulder. You'll figure it out. But remember, it's not just you. We're all here. Whatever happens today, we face it together. As they made their way to the park, Tom felt the lump in his throat grow larger. Sam skipped ahead, blissfully unaware of the storm gathering in the adults' hearts. Tom fought to focus on the simple joys around him, the freshly bloomed flowers, the laughter of children, the sun shining through the trees. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Ryan said, his gaze softening momentarily as he took in the surroundings. Yeah, it does, Tom replied, although his mind was racing ahead, anticipating what lay ahead. But will it feel like a safe space for Ellie? Ryan turned serious again. Honestly? I don't know. I just hope she doesn't feel rejected. I hope her mother understands that I want to be a part of her life. That I actually want to be a dad. Just then, a gust of wind rolled through the park, and the leaves rustled above them. The sound felt like a whisper, urging them forward. As they approached the designated meeting spot, Ryan's body grew tense. What if she's angry? What if I've messed this up already? Hey, Tom said softly, forcing his voice to remain steady. Just be honest. Own your truth. That's what matters. He hoped his words would bring solace to Ryan, who stood on the precipice of his past, ready to leap into a future he could only dream about, and then they saw her. A silhouette under the sprawling oak tree, her form casting a long shadow as she turned to face them. Ryan's breath hitched in his throat. Is that her? Sam asked, his voice innocent and bright. Yeah, that's her, Ryan managed, voice barely a whisper. Tom studied the woman closely. There were hints of familiarity in her features, but her eyes appeared harder, as if the years had carved lines of bitterness across her soul. Timidly, they approached. Sam waved at the stranger with a big smile on his face, as if uniting with a long-lost friend. But the smile on her face as she saw Sam quickly morphed into confusion. Sam. Her voice trembled, but there was a flicker of warmth. You must be my niece. The moment brought a rush of conflicting emotions. Tom felt the anxiety rising in him again. Was it relief or dread? He exchanged glances with Ryan, whose eyes mirrored his feelings, a mixture of hope and fear unraveling. Ellie deserves to know who you are, Ryan said, stepping forward, steeling himself. But we need to talk openly before we go any further. As silence fell over the park, the wind blew again, and Tom could feel the tension whip through the air. He realized there was a lot more at stake than just revealing identities. Relationships were fragile. Trust had to be rebuilt, piece by piece. Would this connection strengthen their family, or would it crack under the pressure? The answer felt precariously close, but just out of reach, leaving a haunting question hanging in the air, heavier than the clouds, and as Ryan took a deep breath, preparing to speak, Tom wondered, what secrets did Ellie's mom hold, and would they be able to confront the truths that could either bind them together or tear them apart? Ryan's heart thundered in his chest, loud enough that he almost missed the sound of footsteps crunching on the gravel. The woman before them, Ellie's mother, seemed to draw in a breath as she looked from one face to another. The uncertainty in her eyes was palpable, like that moment before a storm when the wind anticipates the rain. I didn't expect to see you here, she finally stammered, her eyes darting to Sam, whose innocent smile belied the deep complexity of their situation. Mommy, who is she? Sam asked, tilting his head, a tinge of confusion painting his brow. Sam, Ryan started, his voice steady but softening with paternal instinct, this is Ellie's mom, Jess. The name fell from his lips like a fragile crystal, unsure if it would shatter or shine. Tom noticed how Jess flinched at the sound of her own name, as if it bore an old weight. A silence lingered like a thick fog, and he felt the air around them shift. The word mom hung in the air and intertwined with unanswered questions. I came because I thought it was time, Jess said finally, her voice trembling. I want to meet Ellie, to know her. But it's complicated. Ryan's resolve cracked under the weight of her admission. Complicated? It's been complicated for all of us. His tone grew clipped, but Tom could hear the effort behind it. We just want to move forward, Jess. Jess's shoulders slumped as she took a step back, caught between fear and desire. Tom observed the tidal wave of emotions ripple across her face. In that moment, she seemed both a stranger and a wounded friend, the past clawing at her heels. I didn't want to hurt her, Jess whispered, her voice breaking. I thought. She paused, as if wrestling with the weight of years. I thought it was better to stay away. Sam, unperturbed by the heavy exchange, tugged at Ryan's shirt. Can we go play? I want to swing. His youthful exuberance broke through the tension like sunlight piercing a cloudy sky. Ryan looked at Sam, then back to Jess, caught in a moment of indecision. Tom felt a deep sense of urgency to help bridge the gap, but didn't know how. It's okay, Sam. Just give us a moment, he said, forcing his smile in hopes that it would wrap around the tension like a warm blanket. Jess watched Sam with a blend of longing and sorrow. He looks so much like her, she murmured, almost to herself. Ellie deserves to know her family, but I've made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, Tom interjected gently, his heart aching for both Ryan and Jess. It's what we do to make things right that counts. Ryan inhaled deeply, grappling with his emotions. I'm here now, Jess. I want to care for Ellie and be there for her. But that means facing things together. Jess looked back at him, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Are you sure? Because I can't promise I'll be the mom she needs, the one you want me to be. A heavy silence settled again, but this time it felt charged, an unspoken connection beginning to weave through their hearts. The hesitance on Jess's brow hinted at a revelation just beyond her grasp, a realization that maybe they could find common ground. Ryan stepped forward, vulnerability written all over his face. Let us not worry about what should have been. Let us focus on what we can do now. Ellie deserves better. Better, Jess echoed, the word hanging like the promise of new beginnings. But as hope flickered in the air, Tom found himself wondering, what shadows did Jess carry within her, and could their fragile connection withstand the secrets that lingered beneath? In all the uncertainty, one truth remained: how they handled this moment could change everything for Ellie. Tom felt it deep in his bones. What would they uncover next? Would it lead them toward healing, or deeper wounds? As the evening air cooled around them, Tom braced for what was to come, knowing they were on the brink of something pivotal. The silence stretched, thickening with every passing second. Jess seemed lost, staring at Sam while battling the tempest of her emotions. Tom watched her carefully, aware that this moment could either fracture everything or move them forward. He squeezed Ryan's shoulder, silently urging him to stay calm. "How about we sit down?" Tom suggested, hoping to stabilize the fragile tension. It might be easier to talk without the noise of the playground. Ellie's mother nodded slowly. The weight of her past felt like a stone in her throat, but she walked to a nearby bench, taking a seat, her eyes still flicking to Sam, who was now busy chasing a butterfly. "Listen, Jess," Ryan began as he took a seat beside her, "this is very emotional for all of us. Ellie has a lot to process. We can't rush this. But we can't avoid it either." A shudder ran through Jess at the mention of Ellie's name. "I want to do right by her," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I know I've been absent, but that doesn't mean I don't care. I do. Do you think she'll even want to see me?" "She might be scared," Ryan replied gently, "but she deserves to know you. You're her mother. It doesn't matter what happened in the past." Sam stomped his feet, his laughter ringing through the air, shifting Jess's focus momentarily. She smiled faintly, but sadness pulled at her lips. "I never thought I'd see my daughter, and now her little brother. But I messed up, Ryan. I thought I was doing what was best by staying away, and now you didn't know what the future held," Tom interjected, his voice calming. "You can't change the past, but you can be a part of the future. Can we at least take it one step at a time?" Jess let her gaze drift down to her hands, fingers twisting together like vines. "What if she hates me? What if seeing me dredges up all the pain I caused?" A soft breeze rustled the leaves overhead, and Tom could feel an unyielding tension between hope and despair. "Hate. That's a strong word. Right now, she doesn't even know you. You could be the one to change her life, perhaps offer healing, a bond." Jess looked at Tom, her eyes wide and fearful. "And what if I disappoint her again?" Ryan's voice was firm now. "Then we'll be there. The three of us. Sam, me, and you, all of us together. Ellie will see the effort you're making." The air felt electric, a charged promise lingering in the space between them. For a moment, silence reigned as Jess weighed her choices. "I wish I knew where to begin," she finally confessed, her voice trembling slightly. Tom nodded encouragingly. "Why not start with a simple hello? Let her see the real you. You'd be surprised how much honesty can change hearts." Jess took a deep breath, and even though her hands still trembled, a flicker of determination began to light her features. "A hello," she murmured. "I could do that." Suddenly, the joyful laughter of Sam surged through the air. He bounded over, stopping abruptly in front of Jess to show off a cluster of colorful wildflowers he had picked. "Look what I found, Mommy," he exclaimed, not really understanding the weight of the interaction preceding him. Jess's breath hitched as she looked down at the little boy, her eyes glistening. "They're beautiful, sweetheart." Ryan smiled at the scene, recognizing a softening in Jess, a glimmer of hope. Perhaps they really could do this inch by inch. Just then, Tom felt a shiver run down his spine. Something wasn't right. As he turned toward the park entrance, a figure emerged, a tall, shadowy man, eyes locked on Jess with a burning intensity. Tom's heart raced. He sensed the storm that was about to break once again over them all. "Who is that?" he whispered, feeling a tug at his instinct as Jess's expression morphed from cautious hope to sheer terror. Jess's face drained of color, her eyes widening as the figure drew closer, a flicker of fear igniting deep within her. "No," she whispered, almost to herself, as the man continued to approach. Tom could feel the shift in the atmosphere, like a thunderclap in the distance heralding an impending storm. He instinctively positioned himself between Jess and the stranger, ready to protect this fragile moment. "Jess, who is he?" Ryan's voice was tight, his protective instincts kicking in. That's Dan," she stuttered, her voice trembling. "My ex-Ellie's father. He doesn't want me to get close to her." As Tom's eyes locked onto Dan, he felt anger simmering beneath the surface. Dan's imposing figure radiated an energy that felt menacing, tension crackling like fire in the air. "Jess, I told you not to involve yourself with this," he growled, eyes darting to Ryan and then to Sam, who stood there with wide eyes, innocently clutching the flowers. Tom's heart raced. "Back off, man. This isn't your call anymore," he warned, stepping forward. Protecting Sam, Jess, and Ryan was his priority. Dan's gaze narrowed as he took a step closer. "This doesn't concern you," he snapped, voice like gravel. "Ellie's fine. She doesn't need any of this." "Maybe she needs more than you're willing to give," Ryan countered, his tone fierce, echoing the courage that bubbled to the surface within him. "You can't dictate her happiness, Dan. You lost that right." The air thickened. Time seemed to stretch as Tom scrutinized Jess's face. It was twisted in worry but also a newfound determination shimmered beneath. "Dan," she said, her voice trembling but stronger than before. "I want to be a part of Ellie's life. She deserves to know her family, and I can't let you control that anymore." Dan scoffed, disbelief etched across his features. "And you think they're going to help you? They're not family. They are just strangers." Tom stepped closer to Jess, prepared to stand firm. "We are family, and we will fight for her." As Dan held Jess's gaze, she continued, "You can either support us as parents should, or you can walk away. This isn't just about you anymore." Ryan stood shoulder to shoulder with Tom, a united front of fathers and protectors. Sam, holding tightly to his bouquet, echoed with youthful innocence, "We just want her to be happy. Everyone deserves a family." The collection of words hung in the air, slowly wrapping around Jess's resolution, igniting a spark of courage within her. That spark crackled like lightning, sending shockwaves through the space. Dan's voice faltered slightly. "You think you can just start over? You think it's that simple?" "Yes," Jess asserted, frustration and determination merging on her features. "I'm ready to face whatever it takes to do right by her. It's always been about Ellie." A moment of silence stretched like an unbroken horizon, and in that instant, it felt like everything in the world could pivot on the decisions they made now. Tom could see it, a flicker of understanding in Jess's eyes. She was ready. "Good," Ryan said firmly, "then let us prove it together. You're not alone in this. We're all involved now." Jess turned to Sam, who, despite the heaviness of the conversation, beamed brightly, extending his flowers toward her. "Here, Mommy. These can be for Ellie." As Jess accepted the wildflowers, tears sprang to her eyes that had once been fear-filled now shone with hope and possibility. "Thank you, sweet boy. These are perfect." Just then, with resolve finally gripping them all, Tom felt Dan's presence thinning, uncertainty rising on his brow as if the confrontation had stripped him of some power. His shoulders drooped slightly, and he took a step back, bitter realization washing over him. This wasn't just his decision anymore. Tom seized the moment, pushing gently, "You might want to think about your role in all of this. Ellie deserves the best of her parents. If you really care, you'll start acting like it." For a brief moment, Dan's bravado faltered, and Tom hoped they had planted a seed of change. "I'll be watching," Dan said, voice shaking slightly. But with a hint of defeat in his tone as he turned and walked away into the distance, the atmosphere shifted. Relief washed over Tom, a wave of warmth mixed with anticipation flooding through them. The knots in Jess's shoulders loosened as she exchanged glances with Ryan. "I can't change the past, but I will be there for us," she said, voice steadier now. "I want to meet Ellie now, to introduce myself." Tom nodded, heart swelling with a newfound sense of hope and purpose. "Let us set up a meeting for this weekend, just us. We'll take it step by step, together." Sam's excitement filled the void, bouncing on his heels. "Can I show her my drawings?" "Of course," Jess replied, her smile radiating warmth, bringing tears back to her eyes. "She will love them." As they stood together in the park, the sunlight peeking through the clouds, hope began to stitch together the fabric of their complicated family tapestry. Changes were already underway, and while uncertainty lingered on the horizon, they were ready to face it together. Tom looked at Ryan and Jess, a strong realization embedding in his heart. This was not just about redefining who they were as individuals, but about crafting a family woven from shared love, resilience, and understanding. Together, they would bring Ellie into this circle, transforming it into the family connection they had all sought, and in that moment, he recognized the undeniable truth: they had taken the first steps on a journey of healing, remarkable connection, and new beginnings. A sense of belonging wrapped around them like a warm blanket on a cold night. The sun began to shine brighter and the colorful vibrations of laughter echoed through the park, mixing with the whispers of plants swaying in the wind. Life held infinite possibilities, and for the first time in a long time, it felt like they would embrace them all. Now was the moment to soar together. If you're feeling inspired by this story, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for our journey together. Don't wait not even one more second, hit that like button to feed the algorithm and spread this transformation. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming conclusion, and instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this uplifting story. Your support means the world.